What's going on, everyone? It's Rich Haywood here from Bacon Ice Cream Productions and Team RTFC, welcoming you to yet another episode of Good Times with Retro Rich. So, we're back in the saddle again. I'm feeling a little bit better from having to take a knee the other day. Got some weird medical things happening that were unexpected, but we're pressing on. We're feeling a little bit good today at the beginning of this new week. So I wanted to bring you some cool videos. I'll be shooting a whole bunch so I can, sprinkle along the goodness over the next week. When last we left, we were talking about, of course, the Back to the Future 35th anniversary opening video, where I got the Ultimate Trilogy, opened it, showed you some cool stuff about that. It was pretty fun. If you like that kind of stuff and want to see more about it, head on down in the video roll. It's the last available video that's there, and check it out. It was fun. I thought it was a good time. But what you guys are probably here for is for me to talk some more on Intellivision Amico and talk a little bit more about that 1010 gameplay video. Now, this one, I think the title will be something in the edutainment or fun for kids kind of thing. I haven't figured out which one I'm going to put in the parens yet. But this one is going to be talking about all sorts of cool stuff related to the two clips that were in that video that related to Sesame Street and Care Bears and what I feel about that. So let's just jump right in and talk a little bit about Sesame Street first. Now, the first reaction that I have for talking about Sesame Street is, of course, yes, finally. Thank you for giving me, even if it's just the littlest of clips, but giving me a little clip so I can show people that are engaged in the education space what this thing might be able to bring to the table as far as stuff in the classroom, stuff at learning centers, stuff at tutoring centers, stuff at daycares, all of those places, and how this machine, this little Amico machine, might be a good fit for those environments. This little clip starts answering some questions. So when I talk about Amico to other people that are outside of the video game realm, have no idea about PlayStations or Xboxes or Nintendos, but know that there's sometimes cool products that they can bring into their classroom so they can show kids that are easy to use, easy to manage, and not so expensive that it's just out of the realm, but kind of hits that sweet spot. This is one of those things that I think Amico might be able to fill in a market that doesn't really have a lot of cool entertainment in the realm of educational fun. All right, so let's just jump right in and talk about the video in question and why I think it's going to actually tie in the needs of those different things that I just talked about, and also, of course, bring family fun into the living room again, as well as far as the education and entertainment side goes. So it's great to see, of course, all the cool things that you want to see in that shot. You want to see the Count, you want to see Big Bird, you want to see all the other cool Sesame Street monsters. Of course, we only have the Count, Telly, and Big Bird in there. We don't know exactly what's going on in that shot with the Count. I mean, I'm imagining maybe there's a counting game that you're counting sheep, of course, to help Telly get to sleep. Maybe that's a thing. And then, of course, on the basketball scene side, where you've got Big Bird, he's trying to make baskets, but you can only make a basket if you're picking the right number. The number in this little clip seems to be 9. So who knows, maybe it's a memorization kind of thing. We don't know a whole lot about watching that particular video, but it's those kind of things that lend itself to thinking, at least to me, that this game is going to be more of a entertainment title that has education elements that will be fun like a game than it will be a video game a la Nitro Derby and Astro Smash and all of the other like big action games. But that's a good thing. And the reason why that's a good thing is because those kind of titles need to, in my opinion, they need to exist again in a format that can bring it easily to the consumer. So think about Amico. It's a system that is sitting there ready and waiting to dial out to the internet, download small form, very packed in value titles to a device that can then not have to connect to the internet again, but have multiple titles on it so they can play a number of different things. Can play brain break titles like your Astro Smash and your Evel Knievel and your Nitro Derby and like all those kind of stuff, but also have titles that could be used actually as part of a lesson, or possibly because of all the stuff that's been going on, maybe at a learning center or a tutoring center, the sessions between somebody coming in and somebody leaving are as such now based on scheduling and of course, again, all the stuff that's been going on where maybe there's a long wait. So wouldn't that be cool if the device was available so you could kind of keep people entertained while they do wait, but also slip some education stuff in there, whether then actively being engaged in learning content, getting the mind ready, so that when it's time for them to go into their tutoring session, they're kind of already in the mood to do that. Wouldn't that be something? So anyway, it's titles like this that kind of like excite me, and it really brings that just energy to me to want to share Amico with more people, because I really do think that this device could be make a huge difference in the education vertical. And there's just not a lot of entertainment devices that are out there that do that crossover, that can provide good entertainment and also good educational stuff outside of course devices like an iPad or those touch boards, the smart boards and stuff like that are out there, but they're harder to manage from an IT perspective than say this device, like the Amico would be, because the Amico, you could literally give a very short description about what to do to get titles onto the machine in order to have a teacher or the person that runs a tutoring center or whatever be engaged and use, rather than having to have this big mobile device management system in order to deploy all these apps in order, and set specific permissions on the apps so that they can't get to the App Store or do whatever or have all these rules. It's just, trust me, as someone that's works in education technology, it's just, this device is going to be a whole lot easier to manage and control than say this, any other device that I can think of. And I've been in the industry for a really long time. But moving on from that, but also kind of tied in, let's talk about the other things in that video, in the longer video, that kind of fit that same mold almost, and that's the Care Bears video. So in the Care Bears video, we can see that, again, this is one of those games that could very well be a edutainment title, but it could also just be a regular just kids game, which either way is a good fit. I think it's really awesome to see that there are great games for kids that are going to be available on the system. And it also opens the door for yet another thing that you can put on. If this is just purely a entertainment title, it's going to be really awesome to then mix a title like the Sesame Street title, the edutainment titles, with titles like Care Bears for the kind of brain break stuff. So you can keep it in an environment where, okay, well, maybe you don't want a title like Astro Smash or Nitro Derby, or maybe even Evel Knievel, you want to keep it to a certain age range. Well, titles like Care Bears or Sesame Street or some of the other Playdate digital titles that we're going to talk about in just a second, they might all fit in that one portfolio where those are the only titles you wind up getting, And then, well, you disconnect the console from the internet and you don't have to worry about the store or anything anymore. You just, here we go. You play these titles and that's it. You can sit it in a kiosk somewhere. And, you know, in the tutoring or learning center kind of thing. And you just, you know, you leave it there. The kids are playing, they're having a great time. And you're not have to worry about, you know, when the next time they're going to get down to a store and then see something or whatever that they don't, you know, you don't want them to see. So I think it's going to be really cool, and it's definitely a neat thing that Intellivision is setting up. That I think some other people that are seeing this solely as an entertainment product that's going to play video games is going to be stacked up against the other video game companies. I think this is where that disconnect comes in, but also fills in at the same time. It's like, yeah, well, yeah, it might not be one of those titles that's going to stack up against like the big heavy hitters in the video game space, but it doesn't need to, because over here, those things don't fit in this space over here, but Amico does. So, you know, it's kind of like one of those things where I think like people are missing hidden verticals that actually have Amico fit right in, that, you know, they either they don't see or they don't know about. But since I work in those industries, I mean, it's such a good fit. It really is. But anyway, so let's dig a little deeper into Playdate Digital, shall we, and see what other things that they might be able to bring to the table. So if we look at this slide here, there's a whole bunch of properties we didn't even mention, but we're in kind of related to another video that I did for Good Times with Retro Rich a little bit ago at San Diego Comic-Con at home, where Tommy talked with another person named Tommy and the host about a whole bunch of games that they might be able to bring to the table. And they, in the conversation, mentioned titles that are specifically related to Hasbro. So I kind of picked up on that, made the video, and, you know, of course, a whole bunch of like, wouldn't that be something, right? There's nothing confirmed. There's nothing that says anything. But, well, Playdate Digital has already made some of these products with these licenses before. And if Care Bears is coming via Playdate Digital, what's to say that there aren't any other titles that are related to that relationship that might show up? I mean, of course, this is complete rank speculation, rumor territory. There's no insider knowledge. There's no anything. I'm just spitballing here. But if you look up there, there's some pretty heavy hitters, right? Monopoly Junior, Candyland, Operation. Let's take another look at another slide over here. Chutes and Ladders. Now, those are all titles that I think were in my list in the original video. So that's kind of cool. And of course, they're all Hasbro titles because Hasbro has kind of conglomerated all of the family-friendly board game stuff over the years. They used to be made by different companies, some of these games, but they're all Hasbro now, because Hasbro kind of just like sucked up everything like a giant game vacuum cleaner, and they have all the cool properties. Well, they don't just have these other properties though. There's new properties like Beat Bugs, which is a Netflix show that seems to be doing pretty well. Not necessarily up my little guy's alley. My son Douglas, he is super concerned with only one thing, and that's, does it have tires and wheels? So he's into Stinky and Dirty. It's on Amazon Prime. He loves the Super Wings. He loves Construction Squad of Car City. He loves basically, if it's a show that has anthropomorphic vehicles that have, like I said, tires and wheels, he's kind of into it. But he also likes those vehicles when they get super powered and do things like transform. Right, yes, I totally buried that lead. I left you looking at that thing where right under all of those things, Chutes and Ladders and Beat Bugs, that's a Transformers logo, isn't it? And I know it's Transformers Rescue Bots. That's for the kids set, but man, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something if a Transformers game wound up finding its way on Amico? and would be something that's completely family friendly. I mean, even if it's not the Transformers game that people like us, the core gamer, or the retro, the hardcore retro gamer, would want to see, I mean, it still would be kind of cool, because I know that my son would be super excited about something like a Transformers game coming to the Amico, because he's already excited about, of course, Evel Knievel. That's going to be another video all on its own, where I get to talk about that. Like, I really can't wait to do that video, because Douglas is so excited. He actually plays, we have the iOS game, and he plays the iOS game to death. He loves that game, because, well, he relates the actual motorcycle as a character from one of the other shows, the Stinky and Dirty Show. But more on that later. But hey, wouldn't that be cool? You know, we got Transformers Rescue Bots. Would be very, very cool. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about the team at Playdate Digital and what Playdate Digital is. Now, so they're a publisher, right? Kind of like, I don't know, an EA or an Activision or whatever, right? So Playdate Digital grabs all these different properties, and they get a development team to make these cool entertainment games for kids, and they put them out. Now, some developers will have, you know, standard business people, and what those business people do is what they do best. They take a property, they know how to gloss it up, they know how to show it to everybody and go, this is going to be awesome, come on and buy it, and then people buy it, and it's great. And that's wonderful. Most of the most successful video game publishers out there all have people that do exactly that. Well, Playdate seems to have those people, but also those people all have ties to either major kids-oriented entertainment companies, or like really awesome like school academic ways of looking at how entertainment affects children. So let's take a look at the team and see how that is. I know I just put this other link up here, this little thing, and it's probably hard to read. I'm going to put down below in the description a link to the Playdate site, so you guys can go and find out. This is on their About page, so you can go out and read some more about that. But anyway, so we've got people like this person here. Now these are all people that are on like the head of the company. So this person here used to be VP of Digital and Consumer Products at Nickelodeon, a huge company that did family entertainment. So bringing a whole bunch and breadth of kids entertainment knowledge to a company that does publishing of kids games. Seems pretty cool, right? So then we got this next person here who also has ties to Nickelodeon, and this person has had ties to Nickelodeon since the 80s, so like bringing massive amounts of experience to this company about how to bring like cool kids related entertainment titles to the fore. Pretty awesome, right? So then the next person we have has a doctorate in psychology. Well, that's kind of like a record scratch moment, right? Well, why this doctor in psychology working for this video game company? Well, they've worked in family entertainment and how it's affecting like kids. So like they've studied how the environment of video games in general has, or entertainment in general, has affected kids and the way they play games. So his background is lending to the rest of the team kind of like almost like an arbiter of, I don't want to say warning because that seems a little harsh, but kind of like, hey, look, if we look at these different entertainment titles, you know, how much engagement can we give the kids that will wind up being something that will help them rather than just be something else that they just kind of like waste away in, right? Or just, you know, like veg out, so to speak, while like watching TV or movie or playing a game. But how can we engage these kids and give them something that they can learn with and learn from as well, which is kind of cool. And it's kind of neat to see like a full-blown video game publishing company hire somebody that has that much background in the way entertainment affects children. It's just really cool to me that they have somebody like that could kind of bring that knowledge to help mold all these products to be both helpful to the kid in a like psychological health way, and also just be entertaining and fun. Which brings us to, of course, well, those people don't seem like they have a lot of expertise in making games. So where's that come from? Well, that comes from this guy right here. He used to work at and was the VP of operations and president of Black Lantern Studios. Now, they had a couple offices, one in Springfield, and I'm not actually sure which state, it's not very clear in the slide, but then moved to St. Louis, where they are the studio lead at a lab called Graphite Lab. So what is Graphite Lab? Well, they're a video game studio. They've been working on all sorts of different properties, making all sorts of different games, and have been doing the bulk, if not have done the bulk, of what Playdate Digital to date has put out. So they're the development teams behind the Monopoly game and the Chutes and Ladders game and the Transformers Rescue Team game and the Care Bears game and all that kind of stuff. Speaking of which, I think I missed a slide there where we needed to talk about it. I did. It's this one right here. So you've got the Care Bears property down below on the bottom there. Then you've got Tonka and even My Little Pony. So like, there's a whole bunch of things, really cool titles and really cool properties that Playdate is bringing to the fore here. And this team at Graphite Lab seems to have a whole bunch of history working with not just them, but many more that haven't even been mentioned yet on the Playdate site even. So let's dig into that real quick too. Take a look at this slide. And now I know a lot of companies say like, oh yeah, well, you know, we're a small upstart company. We've worked with the following. And it's like, you know, 5 or 6 companies. Look at that slide. Look at it. There's like over 20 different icons up there. Just to grab some out of the sky here, Activision, Konami, Marvel, Disney, Mattel, Major League Baseball, Take-Two, and 2K. I mean, I know they're kind of all the same thing. Ubisoft, Discovery, Sesame Street's in there, Play-Doh. I mean, that's all kind of Hasbro-y stuff. Tonka, of course. I mean, the list goes on. They've worked on all these different titles. You know, they've worked with all these different companies. And the cool thing, if you go to their About Us page, and I know you always put the best thing you can forward, but some of the comments from some of these major publishers like Konami have said, oh yeah, well, we worked with the team. They were very straightforward. They've got, you know, great work ethic. Their workflow was awesome. They were a pleasure to deal with. And they were, you know, good at kind of being malleable, like, you know, like moving with our needs and making sure that the product came out on time. And that's pretty much the best thing that you could have a partner say about you is, you know, that you do everything that you need to do and your work ethic is awesome and they were thrilled to work with you. I mean, it's pretty great. So now what does all this stuff mean? Again, complete rank speculation zone. It means nothing right now, but it's kind of cool that Intellivision has a relationship with a company that has had relationships with, in the past, all these major different publishers, right? So if they needed a team that had worked with some of these other publishers before, and they needed an in as they were growing their launch lineup, well, maybe this team could offer to help bridge the gap, so to speak, and help bring more titles to Amico. That would be kind of cool, right? I mean, certainly wouldn't hurt, More games and more relationships and more networking opportunities, especially in this kind of industry, are way better than having none of those relationships or links to anyone else. So the bottom line is, wrapping up this video, I'm super excited about the relationship that Intellivision has with trying to put out family-friendly entertainment. And I am super excited that they're actually putting what seems like a lot of really good looks into the kind of companies that they're relating themselves with in the edutainment space, or even just kids entertainment space, that I think is going to really bring something cool that hasn't been seen in either a really long time or maybe even ever to the video game space. But what do you guys think? Hit me up below in the comments and let me know. Like, say, hey, I think I agree with everything, or Rich, you're out of your mind and this is just crazy. And if you made it this far, I mean, thanks for hanging in, thanks for watching. Of course, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content. I've got so much more to say about all sorts of different things that might not even just relate to the 1010 gameplay video, of course, but there's going to be so much more news coming out on Amico as we get closer to launch that I know I'm gonna want to bring stuff and share it with you guys. So anyway, we'll wrap this video up and we'll catch you in the next one. The next video will actually be, I think, a little bit of a response to last week's, or this past Sunday's, I should say, Amico All Access. I wasn't able to make it because, of course, all the craziness stuff going on with me and being locked to a couch, not feeling great. But I got some cool stuff I want to bring to you guys anyway. So hopefully you guys check out that video, and we'll catch you next time for some good times. This is Rich, and we'll see you later.
Team RTFC.baconicecream.com